I have three different highlighters. I'm going to have three different colors going here if you want to do what I'm doing. I will use specifically orange, green, and pink. But you do whatever you need to do. You just color code. Okay. So weighted mean. The name, guys, the name says it gives it away a little bit. Some things are weighted more than others. Most of your classes in school and university are going to be weighted. Tests are weighted heavier than ACs, and so I think you understand that part. So I'm gonna go right cut to the chase and just get you right into the today's topic. So the first one we're going to do is weighted mean include involving percentages. Okay, so make sure you understand that we're first going to do percentages and then I'm going to do scenarios where you don't have percentages. When you notice a table with percentages, you're going to check to see if the row or column adds up to 100%. You're following that? You need to make sure you check. If the answer is yes, we will divide our final answer, our final sum by 100. Just make note of that. I'm going to really emphasize this point. The answer is yes. We're going to divide our final answer by 100. And this is what I want you to think of when it's a table like this and you're in statistics and you're trying to find the average. You're going to get mad. What does that stand for? We're going to multiply, then we're going to add, and last we're going to divide. Okay? And here are my colors. Ready? Multiply is, I'm going to give that orange. Add is going to be green for me, but just have three different colors of your choice. And then we're going to divide at the very end. In that order. Okay? So here we go. Janice earned the following scores in different categories as seen in the table. Calculate her average score, her mean score. So we're still finding averages, but we have a table here. Notice this, percentages. Check if it adds up to 100. So let's go ahead and do that. Sometimes both are percentages, sometimes only one of them is. You're with me, right? Sometimes both are, sometimes just one. If there's only one, you're only going to check that one if it adds up to 100. So here we go, 45, 39, 85. I'm going to go through the motions as if I don't know what's happening here, okay? 39. So this top one adds up to 259. So we're not going to divide. We're not going to divide so far. So far, we're not dividing by 100. Let's check this next row. So you got to stay within your category, right? So we're going to go 15, 20, 25, and 40. Does that add up to 100? Yes, it does. Therefore, divide by 100. We know for sure that our last step is going to be, which I'm using pink because it matches with the last step, which is divide. Okay? We're going to divide by 100. And this is just my way of doing it. If you find another way that works for you, you go right ahead. Just ask me to make sure it will work in the big picture. So here's multiplying. You multiply across from one category to the other like this. Just multiply the numbers like this. Okay, so you're going to multiply, 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 multiply. And let's get the answers here. 45 times 15, That's 675. Then you go 39 times 20. That's 780. Then you're going to go 85 times 25. That's 2125. And then you're going to go 90 times 40. That's 3600. Hold it. Assignments is 675. Quizzes is 780. Midterms is 2125. Exam is 3600. Which one of these assignments, quizzes, midterm exams has the biggest impact on your final marks so far? And the answer is exams. That one is right now, we figured out that it is the heaviest overall, for sure. Okay. So what did we do again, Mr. Erickson? I saw percentages. I checked to see which of these rows add up to 100. I figured out this second one does. Park it there. It just means that you're going to have to divide by 100. Then I started with MAD. Remember MAD? Multiply. So you're going to multiply the numbers like this. Get your answers. What's the second step? You're going to have to add. So I actually just go plus, plus, plus. So that's the adding part. I'm going to highlight that using green. So let's find the sum, right? Our sum, sorry, I'm not going to go sum. I'm just going to figure out my average. That's what we're about to do here. So we're going to add up, just like we did before. When we did our normal average, we're going to go 675 plus 780 plus 2125 plus 3600. 7180 divided by, what are we dividing by? 100. This can't be your final score, can it? 7180, that's way too high, right? So we divide by 100. That's 71.80%. So whatever units are there, that's what we're going to go with. That's the final mark. I actually have this on my grade mark book, right? I rounded at the very end, just before I enter it into your report card. That's when I round. But in the meantime, this is your mean score. Okay. Question though. This is weighted mean. By the way, it's not always going to be a table. It's not always. Sometimes it is. If it isn't a table, I usually turn it into a table. What does it say at the bottom here? Calculate Janice's average score if every category weighed the same. I'm going to cut this here, okay? Cut this right here. I'm going to do the math up here, right underneath it. And this is what's happening. You know how we multiplied before? We're just going to go to the actual scores and pretend like the weight is gone. The weight is gone. Every single thing is worth the same. So you would have to go 45 plus 39 plus 85 plus 90. What would you divide this by, you think? How many numbers are we adding? 4, that's it. You're just going to divide this by 4. I don't think any teacher would ever do this, but it could be. And so that adds up to 259 divided by 4, and that gives you 64.75%. Make an arrow going up from every category being the same. Why do you think our average is lower here? Anybody? Why is my average lower if everything is worth the same? Samantha, you don't want to say it out loud? Let's see if I can read your minds here. Mr. Erickson, it's obvious because earlier when there were different weights, what's weighted the heaviest? The exam. You did the best on the item that was worth the most. So that's why your mark is going up, right? If we were to eliminate the weights, it's almost like it doesn't matter where you did well or where you didn't do well because they're all worth the same. So even though you got a 90 here, you got a 45 there. So your average is going down because of the weights are being removed, right? So I'll say this. Um, when the weights are removed, um, it does not matter whether or not you did well on the exam. Um, that is why the average decreases. And I'll have different explanations as you work through this. Okay. So remember, weighted mean, think you have to get mad to get that one right. Multiply, add, divide. Okay. All right, let's go to the next page here, 40. Okay, there's a table, correct? There's percentages and numbers. I'm not even going to check first if it adds up to 100. I'm just going to apply MAD here. Okay, MAD. Okay, multiply, add, divide. Okay, that's what you want to remember. Multiply, add, divide. What are the colors that I used earlier? Orange, green, and pink. So what do you mean with multiply? I'm telling you, you're going to go times, times, times across like this. You're going to multiply those two numbers together. Okay? So when you do that, let me just get my key because I wanted to go a little faster. You're getting 2, 14, 30, 60, 42, 6 times 17. What is that again? Oh, wait. 5 times 21 is not 42. Sorry. Get your act together. That's 105. 6 times 17 is 102. 8 times 14 is 112. 9 times 7 is 63. And 10 times 7 is just 70. Okay. And then what are you going to do with those? You're going to add your results. Let's go ahead and do that. So my mean, I want you to show me the work at least next to the table. Okay. It doesn't have to be pretty in a formula, but over here. So I'm going to add it all up. 2 plus 14 plus 30 plus 60 plus 105. 2. You add it all up, you get 5. I get 558, but my key says 559. What did I do wrong? Let's do it one more time. Anybody check? I get 558. Okay. I'm going with 558. Divided by 100, you think? How do we know for sure? You check, right? There's percentages. Does it add up to 100? Okay, that means I have to divide by 100. So I'm going to go 100. So that's my last step, right? This is my last step that I need to do, and I decided to divide by 100. It's not always going to be 100. Let me just tell you that straight right from the beginning. It's not going to be 100 every time. But I completed my 3 steps. Yeah. If the percentage, if you notice their percentages and you add up and it adds up to 100, you're guaranteed having to divide by 100 at the end. So what is that? 55, no, 5.58. What are units in? Percent? Okay, you got to follow me on this. We'll check. Do this here on the side. This is called unit analysis. My goodness, this is Friday, Mr. Dirksen. Why are you throwing those words at me? That's a unit analysis. What were you multiplying every time you were multiplying? What do these numbers represent? Devices, right? We were multiplying devices by percentages every single time, correct? What did we divide by? When we divided by 100, what units are we dividing by? Percentages. Did you know that this cancels? Where's my red pen when I need it? These two cancel out. So that cancels with that. So what are you left with? Devices. Okay. So this actually represents the average number of devices per household, which is probably on the lower end. It should probably be higher nowadays, right? It's a little dated. Okay. So I want you to try, before I move on, I want you to try the 2 questions that follow. There's this one, and then there's the one on page 41. Okay? Mr. Erickson, there's no table. Just read it and make your table. Okay? Make your table with the scores and the weights, and then figure out the average for both questions. All right? Go ahead. Try it. Here, if you need it, you can make a table with scores and the weights like this, and then actually just make yourself a little table, right? And then like, what is the score that you got and what's the weight that goes with it? So make yourself a table if you need to. And I'll give you the answers in a bit. Okay. So I want to make sure we have another example. So come with me. Let's go to page 44. We're still gonna apply MAD. It's just a little different. Weighted mean, multiple items. I would say repetition with repetition. Okay. I'm gonna leave this for Tuesday, this part right here. We're gonna go straight down on page 44, bottom half here. Okay. Page 44. You can write down no percentages. Exclamation marks. Okay. No percentages. You still apply MAD. Okay, so on the side here, you're gonna say MAD. What's the first thing you do when it's a table? M stands for multiply. How are we gonna multiply? Like this or like this? I'm confused. Well, this is number of students, so this is a category, and this is another category. You want to go across categories, like this. Okay, so we're going to put a times in there. Multiply, multiply, multiply. That's our first step. So just figure out what those answers are. So that would be 360. 4 times 280 is 1120. This is 450. And this one is 180. Okay. What are you going to do next? What's the next step? All at once, right? Add. Right, this is my next step. So we're going to add these numbers up just like before. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. So let's add it up and get our sum here. So we're going to get 360 plus 1120 plus 450 plus 180. Okay, you get your sum there. So now you're going to say mean is going to be 2110 divided by, and this is the tricky part, what are you going to divide by? Are you going to divide by the sum of this column or the sum of this column? And that's where you do your unit analysis. Unit analysis. What have you been multiplying this whole time? Students, right? Number of students. And what were you multiplying it by? What does it say at the top here? Hours studied. So hours. That's what you were multiplying the whole time. You want to divide out the unit that you don't want. What is it asking me here? Calculate the average number of hours. That's what you want. You read that? I'm going to highlight that. Calculate the average number of hours studied per student. So you want this. That's what you want to keep. What are you going to divide this by to get rid of students? Yeah, you just divide by students, okay? And that allows you to do this. This is on the side. So we go over to our table again, and we're going to add up the total number of students here. I get 520 students that have been considered for this survey. Okay, 520 students have been asked, so that's what we divide by, 520. I'm going to use pink for that one. That's my last step, right? The 520 came over here and divided out. So now we're going to find out our average. We go 2110 divided by 520 students. So 4.06 hours on average is my answer here. 4.06 hours. Let me see here. You ready? What's the mode for our study for the test? The mode. What? Doesn't this mean that 280 students mentioned that they're studying 4 hours? Right? 120 said 3 hours, 284, 95, 30. So this is your mode actually. If that makes sense, I just threw that in there. Out from left field, just what's that? Yeah, it's the most students answered 4 hours. Okay, I'm gonna leave it right there. So homework is gonna be pages. It actually starts before already, so I'm gonna say 39 to 40 to 41. That's percentages. Okay, then it's going to be 44 and on. Let me just peek here. 44 to 47. Yes. This is no percentages, right? So you want to write that down. I'm going to post that. And I would say homework goes in on a scale.